chat another video regarding our origin and the origin of the universe, noting that those videos are not to be taken with a pinch of salt. I mean, you have to be critical and have your only thinking. In no way whatsoever you should impose or push ideas to other people's minds. So everybody is welcome to have their own conclusions. I myself, I'm a critical. I read those articles with an open mind and viewing all possibilities within the same box, but at the same time I own a critical kind of mentality, attitude. I mean, I don't take everything by the book. We have to question, you have to ask. Especially nowadays, the new age, whereby everybody thinks that they have the truth, which in reality is that truth, and especially coming from certain people, which is very dogmatic indeed. Or every people is people who are into rituals, into cults, into religion. I don't take much credibility to these people, I'm sorry. And I read this article with an open mind. I mean, I accept it, but I don't follow. I don't quite believe. So let's discuss about the Anunaki Saga. At the beginning of our universe, life existed only on spiritual levels. That means that through the studies, many eons of billions and billions and trillions of years ago, life exists only on a spiritual level and not on a baryonic dense form. And it was located in the highest dimension. That means that we didn't have yet the Voronadek matrix, which is composed or made of particles, atoms, and they solidified and condescending, and then they form those architects which we call alien to be true. They kind of create, they are ingenious, cosmic engineers. So they, through this Vorondek project, they have created many universe and many beings, okay? And through the star, prepare your seat belt to fall back, okay? To be aghast and be shocked through some revelations. Or creators of the universe. And a simple definition for now, habit coming from other major universes. That means we didn't have yet this universe here. I mean the third dimension. That's now the fourth dimension. According to ufology, we are having our fourth dimension, and we have entered since 2012. We have entered into the level 1. Means that we were so backward by design. It's not your fault, not my fault, don't worry, it's not our fault, but it was by design from these beings. And we got so lagged back, so backward, that we are in level 0. Just imagine that you are not even in kindergarten, you are in level 0. You see, and I mean in consciousness and remembrance and memories of who you are. Understand? So up to 2012, we were up on 2013. You see that everything started with 13. Everything. The 13 is a very auspicious number indeed. And those people who born in 13, they actually very lucky. So I'm born in 13, 9, 3 a.m. and a full moon at 3 a.m. and the Friday the 13th. And I consider myself a bit lucky because I'm very knowledgeable. So this is a very auspicious number, and we entered the new era, the new age on 2013. Level 1, that means we were level 0 in the knowledge, you see, and only in 2013 that people start to open more their mind, and if this come a lot of chaos into the world, into this planet, a lot of chaos, and the people didn't know what to do with this energy. So what they did, many commit suicide. You can see, if you see around the world, even before that, people start to commit suicide because through many studies, the nano age started in the 80s. You see, so everything accelerated. So everything went too fast. People didn't know what to do with this energy. Surely people have been crazy for many decades or centuries ago. There's nothing new. Only that from time to time there's certain energy that enters the earth by design, because nothing is random. You see, everything is by design. So people in this age now didn't know, started from the 21st century, people didn't know what to do. So because of some influences, you see, external, many people start to commit suicide, many people start to still are killing one another and get busy and getting mad. So what I want to say, and then we start in the spirit. We start to get level 1 on 2012. We started actually in 2013, and now we are on the 4th dimension. Some says 15th dimension, but for some it's the 4th dimension. That's why many people cannot bear all this, and some just go. I mean, they come out with their bad because it's too much to bear. You see, there was a spiritual Big Bang before the material Big Bang. That means there were ethereal one, an invisible Big Bang before the material Big Bang. So before the material existed, there were already the spiritual. So the Big Bang by design was not the material baryonic, but the flimsy or ethereal one, composed of another substances. With the formation of the current baryonic physical matter, it was not the only one, but several expansions or explosions. For us, it's difficult to understand, and we also tend to believe that life is limited by matter. It's not. It's just the opposite. consciousness is real, the foundation of all life. So there was supposed life on supraphysical levels, the unseen world, or the invisible one is called the supra consciousness, where creative consciousness was channeled into great chunks, huge stretches of a god, or the prime matter, or the prime energy, emotion or vibration. The beings who co-create this consciousness are called the heavenly sons. But I wonder, where's the heck is the heaven's daughters? Why they have to be on the parasitical or paradise sons? Where is the paradise daughters? Don't tell me that those sons come from the daughter, because I'm not gonna believe this crap. I'm so sorry. In the primordial creations, because there has to be the Qin and the Shang. These pieces of God, you see all these particles, are the supramonades. That means all that existed, all the particles of atoms, subatomic matter, neutrons, atoms, all the supramonades, okay? All created, all these are energies, all this is the piece of this big spiritual bang, the Big Bang. Thus, we have the Voron decks responsible for the creation of this new universe. The Voron decks might be a kind of a group or a federation, something like this. Responsible, a federation of different beings responsible for the creation of this universe and the paradise sons. Anunaki is also a group. Anunaki, Galactic Federation, Voron Dex, all group of aliens that create their genius, and they create matters, they create universe, they create existence. So if anything goes wrong, go and blame them. They hold all the responsibility. I wash off my hands. Does he have the Voron deck responsible for the creation? It's not very easy to be responsible for something. It takes a lot of responsibility, and I wouldn't want to be in that place really. Responsible for the creation of this universe, and the paradise sons responsible for the co-creation of the consciences together with the creative source. So that means that the beings that were created with this Big Bang, the beings that were created first, okay, they are responsible for this universe. God, or conic vacuum, or whatever you want to call it. Okay, so they are your gods, the gods that you all bow for, the gods that you all worship, the god that you place rituals and cults. Supramonads are creating a dimension that we can consider as 40D. Oh my gosh, 40D. And then imagine how lagged behind we are. Just like we are below the amoeba. 40D for now, to use as a reference, just to get an idea. It said that our reality is 30G, but actually we are in 4G. And this 4D started in the same 2013, about 5 years ago. Yeah, 5 years ago. Height, wind depth, and density. Continuing with the process of cooling down of our then recent universe after the primordial explosions. the baryonic matter once consolidating. So all this are consolidated, okay. The baryonic matter once consolidated, joined together, densify, oscillated, okay, they oscillated, and then high to low dimension, then so they lower their vibration in frequency to create new life as new universe, which were to be programmed through and work and function through lower frequencies and low frequency in vibration. Just atoms formed the particles, the various substances in the universe, and so it goes. Since the formation of dark energy and dark matter that occupy 18% of our universe, until they arrive at the densest formation of galaxies, stars, solar systems, planets, and all that we can see and touch in our world. Is it the dark and matter and the dark energy dense, or is it more flimsy than the others? Oh, they are dense. They got to be dense because it's 8%. So if they form 80% of our universe, which is the solar system and the Milky Way, it is dense until they arrive at the densest formation. As the denser matter was being formed, also on the conscientious side, the denser beings were formed. Thus, the supramonades were adapting and reaching a density close to 30G. So from 40 they went down a degree below. They went down the scale, one scale below to become the 30G. From then on, they began to unfold in monades, and this took time. This took eons, billions, millions of ages of time. It was not overnight. It took many millions of years. Monades are supramonades, fractals that manage to penetrate into denser dimensions and carry with them temporarily independent consciousness of the supramonade, though they form part of it and these connections exist. So monades are what call creation or world or universe, okay? That is a fractal, is pieces, tiny molecule, because the beings that created them minds, and especially the energy that created it, it has no end, no begin, and it shall not have an end. And it's too big, and each of these beings that came from it are very immense. Their size is unmeasurable, cannot be measured. To penetrate into denser dimensions and carry to them temporal independent consciousness. So what? They break into pieces so as to fit into other form of lives and consciousness of the supramonade through the form part of its connection exists, and carry each of the theoretical knowledge of their mother or their DNA. DNA is knowledge. Each supramonade can be divided from 12 to 144 monades according to its need and choice. So if they need or they choose to, they will divide itself, and then they'll break itself. They'll break itself from its origin and become what they are not. Understand? They will not just be, they will have, and having is becoming what they are not. So they create this and that, and all this is creation. It's just like, what I see is like a fantasy world, you know. It's just like a holography, it's just like yeah, it's a creation, it's like a computer program. And what you can see here is just like what they call a choreography, and every time I forget that damn name, that name term. They create what kind of a configuration here, the damned configuration. They configure all this, you see, like mega, super mega computers. For them, it's a fantasy, but for us, it's real, because we are built in a way that we see through our eyes. Our eyes are computer programmed by itself. We have a chip on the back of our eyes, or back of our head. There is a chip, that this chip transmits through the physical eyes what we have to see. So you see all this, we see what? We see the trees, we see the buildings here, we see all our metrics, you know. But for them, the creators, it is not real. It's only real for eyes, you understand? Although it real feels real for eyes, only for eyes, but the creators, they are not caring. They are there just programming things and monitor everything. We are not left alone, and we are being monitored 24/7. The monad can reach a range. The monad can reach a range of up to 20D. So this kind of thing can only go up to 20 dimensions. Remembering that the smaller or the lowest the density, the denser the matter. That means we are not even on the lowest. There's another one, that's the third dimension. So we reach already the fourth dimension. There's still even a lower one that is in the third dimension. And imagine we are already low. Imagine the others. We are low in frequency and low in knowledge and low in consciousness. Just imagine the others that are below us. From them on, each monad can unfold from 12 to 144. I am. Each I am is work as a kind of commander, a monitor, kind of mentor, according to its need. Each I am carries the theoretical information and also the acquired experience of its monad and supramonads and densities above 20D. That means that each mentor, they do carry the theories and the information and the acquired experience of the other monads where they come from, of their origins, and supramonads and densities above 20G. So each of these beings, they have the theory, and then they guide of create what we see here. Though I am, or prime creator, as it's called, is able to acquire experiences until approximately 12D. Until approximately 12D. How come the monad can reach a range of up to 20 decenti? That's one thing. Though I am is able, or see the monad, the universe created, but though I am, each of these beings is able to acquire experiences until approximately 12 density, where from that they are just kind of I would say what they call it, commander or general, where from that can unfold in 12 to 144 souls according to its necessity. Souls have the experience up to about 7D. So just from what I can gather here, each creator, I am himself, experiencing until the 12 density, and then he can unfold in 12. He can multiply like a amoeba, like that thing leech, up to 12 to 144 souls according to his necessity. He can break it himself. Souls have the experience up to about the 7th dimension, where they must fragment into souls fractals, which can reach all the dimensions below. So from the 12 dimension up to the dimensions below to up to 30 or 4D, the one creator will break itself into many soul fractals. That means that we are a part of fractals of this giant, humongous being, which can reach all the dimensions below where we are. Otherwise, for example, if a soul were to engage in a body below that density, it would surely kill it. That means it cannot go lower than that. If we go lower, the body in that lower realms or lower vibration cannot take the density, cannot take the vibration. Their frequency is too high. So you can go up, just up to 3 to 4D. We cannot go below that. Otherwise, but before we were in that dimension, and there is another in 2 dimension. Otherwise, for example, a soul were to engage in a body below that density, it would surely kill, because the lower density body does not support the high energetic degree of the soul. Therefore, we are all fractals of a soul, a prime creator, which have from 12 to 144 pairs that help to form our soul. So from what I can gather, each monad is monetted, and it is managed by a big, humongous soul, okay? A being, now we call a being, and his frequency is immeasurable. They can kill you from afar. They don't even have to penetrate the earth to kill our bodies or anything here. From how immense, how powerful his frequency and energetic vibration is. So what happens is that each creator is responsible for each monad or universe created, okay? So what happens is we and everything that belong to that specific universe or monad is fractal, is part of that big large soul. So in a sum, in a way, we are all interconnected, just like as I always say, a tapestry woven, you see, all interwoven like wires, like a wire walk, or even work of tapestry, but it's all from the same source. So that's why the pain that you cause another is gonna come back to you. Why? Because we are all interconnected here, not only on earth but in the universe. Okay, so beware of what you make yourself to be unaware of. Try always to be kind. Kindness is everything. But first of all, be kind to yourself, because you all come from the same prime creator. Okay, so if a soul were to engage in a ball below that density, it would surely kill it, because the low density bar does not. That means if we have to go to another, you get embodied in another kind of lower created body, made of another composition that's not able to hold our frequency. That body will surely die. And it's the same thing for our body here. It feels so tired, it feels so difficult for us, because once our frequency rises, we feel tired, because it doesn't belong to this body. And then sometimes it's even harder to breathe. Since you raise our vibration, it becomes hard to breathe, because we doesn't fit into the body anymore, because our frequency is getting higher. And it's the same thing when some medium they incorporate, they embody certain beings, because the beings are so powerful. Their frequency, their energetic frequency and vibration is so high that he gets so tired, when they enter into our body, they cannot breathe. He's so tired, he's so very, very tired. So when you feel tired, it's because your frequency is getting higher. So in order to feel this kind of a body, you have to lower a bit. Therefore, we are all fractals of a soul, which we have from 12 to 144 pairs that help to form our soul. Our aim self, which help form our I am, which has 12, which form our monad, which has 12, 44 pairs that help our super monad. It's very complicated, it's very complex for some people to understand all this. But more or less I understand. I believe that there's 12 to 144 pairs that help form our super monad. This one is the beings that kind of control everything in here in this monad or realms. And then each one of us has twin souls, which have formed our I am self. So don't worry, everybody has their own self, and we are never ever alone here. Even as sometimes we think that we are. The way back to our reality from soul fractal to supramonade is what we all, terrestrial and non-terrestrial, throughout the universe, are meant to do sooner or later. So we are meant, whether we want or not, what we expect or not, whether we believe it or not, We are meant to get back to our origin sooner or later. There is no escape from the evolutionary process. Whatever time it takes. When the supramonad, suprarealm is created, it receives all the information and experiences of its parents. So all the theory and the information is all on the DNA of the beings that form the supramonad. The heavenly sons, as I mentioned, they also receive a goal, so they have a reason for being created and a mission. They choose to have or not experiences in the dimensions below in order to be co-creators, and like their parents when the whole goal is complete. But what about us? Oh yeah. We are minuscule form of the great being and those monads and those beings. We are particles of them, just that we are embodied, another kind of realms, another kind of body, and I understand that we are another creation. As the supramonads were being created by various heaven sons and paradise sons, and paradise daughters, don't forget, stop being misogynistic. Were being created by various paradise sons and were receiving various information and goals of existence. They were dividing and populating the densest worlds. So as the realms were created, universe or planets, galaxies, star systems, by various paradise sons, and were receiving various information or theory and goals of existence. So they all have the theories. So they say, why not place it into experiences? So what happened is that we were created to experience as much as they also were created to experience, and just because they are the manager, you see, they have been there earlier, so they understand better. And then what happened is that at the end of the day, we are all available, and we are all worthy, okay? And we are here only as a journey, what they call pilgrims. We are just pilgrims. We are in the journey, a journey to place these beings, theories into practices. Okay. At that moment, these evangelical sons, as they are called in the Urantian book, realized that they could create biological life in this new materials world, and the first material life form were the insectoid beings. Oh my gosh, well, look at that. Insects were one of the first to be created, given the harsh environmental condition of the primitive worlds of our universe. So in the beginning there were insect rule, but their consciousness was denser yet. But now we have insects that are even more knowledgeable and evolved than a human. They were insects of the simplest form that gradually were reaching intelligent life form until creating authentic colonies of insects. Even in degree, still quite basic development, still in a degree, in a very kind of basic development in the second phase. They formed the avians, birds, or carrions. They are also called carrions, and at which the reptilian evolved from them. So if you all didn't know until now, the birds did evolve. The reptiles did evolve from birds. So those who kind of worship dragons and reptilian or reptile, you should not be cruel towards birds, because these beings come from the birds. So first one the chicken and not the eggs. Okay, first were the chicken, and the first were the avians, the birds, the carrions. Kobazar was the great avian reptilian being that evolved in Egypt. He was the Horus, not Horus. Horus could have been his son, the bad man, and they did time in Egypt when they came to earth, and his name was Kobazar. He was the king, pharaoh, and they came from the Carrion, and from the Carrion, from what I know, because I have been followed by aliens since the 80s, and from other beings also, and from what I know, the Carrions, which is birds, come from the Magos, the black Magos, the great sorcerers, what they call Magos, sorcerers. They all come from the avians, but there's some people who doesn't like avians. But avians is birds, okay? So there's people who doesn't like them, but it's okay. I mean, each one, but we should respect everything, because if you didn't create, respect the creator, the creatures that was created not from you but from one another beings. Okay, try to live here in peace on earth, because this earth doesn't belong only to us humans, but to many others. Okay, other creatures. So respect the birds, respect the canines, respect the felines, respect the equines, which is the horses, the mules, the camels. Respect the bovines, which is the cow, the bull, the buffaloes. Respect them. Respect the felines, the wild or house cats. Respect them. Respect the wolves. Respect the the domestic dogs. Respect all of them, because they all come here to co-create fear. They are our companion, okay? Even respect the snakes, but don't let them invade your space. Don't invade the snake's space either. Stay away from their habitat. And after, don't complain if the snake come and attack you. Or stay away from them. But if they come to your habitat, then you have to protect your body, right? But if you are living in their space, then you're to blame. It's the human to blame, and not the snakes, not the serpents. So respect, live in harmony. Do like the Buddhist, okay? Try to live in peace. How many more years we have in this earth? Huh? We have to live this earth in the best state than when we first came and entered. So try to respect the earth, try to respect the water. Water also is spirit. Water also has current in it. It has energy, and that current is energy. So respect the water. Don't throw garbage in there. Respect the ocean. Don't throw garbage in there. Respect the marine animals that come from Sirius. Respect the rivers. Respect the lakes. If you humans want to respect, you gotta respect. You cannot get respect when you don't respect. And you don't live here alone, you know. And you warn to the animals that you were here first. All that we have. So they form the avians, and then the reptilian life derived from the insectoid. Oh my gosh! The reptilian come from the insectoid. And then we kill cockroaches, we kill bugs because we don't go along with them. And then we kill bees because we are too afraid of them. We kill ants. All out of fear. I mean, there's something if they come to your space, but if they are not in your space, respect everything. All sentient being respect. Respect is everything. If you don't want to get harmed by karma, then you got to respect. Okay? The reptilians settle into the constellation of Draco. Alpha Draconis. If you go to Google Map, you will see that Draconis. I have a life in, according to my astro map, I have a life in Saturn, I have a life in Uranus, I have a life in Neptune, and in Mars, and also in the constellation of Virgo this time around. But I don't recall. I only recall in Uranus when, Uranus, and the beings in there walk like a zombie. They kind of not having. They are not sovereign. They kind of walk like a zombie because they look like androids. Because their sovereignty, I mean, they live in collective consciousness, and they follow all, you know. They are only prime creator. So they don't have their own will. Like here, everything is messy, and people kind of have their own free will, which is limited. But there is, and it's called freedom, and arbitrary freedom. And we kind of abuse it. You see, we kind of abuse freedom in this planet. We sometimes get too chaos. The reptilians settled into the constellation of Draco. The first reptilian races were the winged dragons. Okay, and they come in many colors. From what I have found out, there's Jehovah, that's the red dragon. There's other dragon, the black one, which is very evil. I don't want to be racist, but things is what it is. And this black ones, my gosh, they are so evil. His name is I forgot. I hate when I forget names. Markul, something like that. I don't even want to repeat his name. The first reptilian race were the winged dragons, which were an ethereal race of the fifth dimension. I remember one time, this idiot from Brazil, I talked to him a lot about, about this kind of stuff. And then sometimes we argue. And then sometimes he's so scared of me because he thinks that my vibration was very strong and sometimes could harm him. So what happened is that he used that to deal with Chinese. And then the Chinese people teach him how to keep a dragon. Besides, he watched all these movies and these games that have dragons. And then he started to create a dragon in his mind. But I didn't know, I didn't know of that. So until one time, I come to him and I said, your dragon was afraid of me. He said, what? I say, your dragon was afraid of me. He said, how did you know? I said, because I've seen it. And he was green and he was behind you, peeping at me. And he said, how could you see? I said, yes, I saw. He was behind you, and he was peeping at me behind you. Why he was so afraid of me for? You know what he answered? Next time I'm gonna make one more terrified one black or red. I say, carry on, bring on, and I'm not scared. I even have seen a reptilian here to me in my room about 10 a.m. in the morning. I have seen many aliens, but and I was not scared of them. I have seen the white bean, bold with blue slanted eyes, and he was very tall, and they are very skinny, very slender, white, very white. And that one was okay. He was a bit sensual, I would say, but he is. He's okay. He's benevolent, and he told me that I was his wife in other dimensions. Another time, he was my husband, and I kind of okay. And then he came in 2004, and in 2014, 2015. To visit me. And beside that, I have seen Bray, Dozeta, Reticulus. This is very short, petty. I saw the Chinese vampire, which some call Potiana in the Asia folklore, and the Philippines folklore as well. And I have seen a lot of them. I have seen a witch, but this one I don't know whether she belongs to this aliens clan, let's see. And I have seen what else? Another kind of aliens called Kaloops. They are they operate a lot in Brazil, and I saw them in Brazil, and they tease, and they come to basically, literally to how they call to abduct me. And they did 3 times in a row, and my mother was trying to save me, but they stopped the laser. And that time I didn't know what was that. I was very terrified. I started a fight, and it took 3 of them to subdue me, and they could do it. They have the power, and they were shorter than I'm about 5'2", and they were about 4'8", like this, 4'5". Oh, 4'5", something like this. One shorter than I. And they took me to that kind of very old kind of spacecraft. The year was 1983, and they took me to that spacecraft, and they asked me to sit down. I could see the ladders, brown color leather sofa, and I could see the panels of a lot of control light, and it was on my backyard because my backyard was very big. It was a kind of what they call a grange or orchard. I lived in orchard in northeast of Brazil, and they could land there on the football field, because there's a football field about 100 meters from my backyard door, and they landed there, and 3 times in a row. And after that, I've seen a lot. I've seen Orientals, Oriental come dogs, Orientals. They were Chinese or Japanese, but they were aliens. And their spacecraft is very small, smaller than the others. I saw them in 2014. I have seen also the blondie came, tan skin, dark blonde hair, a space suit, and I don't know, maybe she was on a droid because she avoided my eyes. She wouldn't gaze at me, wouldn't gaze back at me, and she talked to me for a while. She entered about 5 a.m. It was still very dark outside, so she entered to my hall. The hall was dark, and she started to talk to me, and I just kind of okay, everything okay. I didn't ask a question, and she say something about that many people will succumb to the new vibration. She told me so, that many people succumb, and she told me about a lot of things, that things will change, and we must be prepared for it. And she make her way through the door. I followed her because I'm very curious. Sometimes vehicle people are very curious, and I went after her, and as she walked, she was not even walking, she was floating. And when she turned back to me, she turned back to look back at me, and then asked her, why are your eyes looking, why do your eyes look like you are in trance, and why are you floating? She told me it doesn't matter. Her voice was not rough, not rude. She was very kind, and she was not pushy either. She was just giving me advice. So she went away through the corridor. And after that, I've seen since 12 years, age of 12, I have seen the being that they call Jesus follow me. He always will come with a black man, and he stopped following me in 2016. I saw him on the beach, and he came with a lot of dogs, and he says he wanted to give me power. And as he put his hands onto my forehead, I started to vibrate. I vibrate, and he laughed, a very shrill and evil laugh. And he said that he cared for me because I looked very tired. And then after that, they just kind of disappeared. And after that, the last one was the reptilian, and 2016 was 1 month later, after see the black mago. I think that this is Jesus, a black mago negro. But here they say is another thing. That's why I want to debunk. So the reptilian, I was asleep at 10 a.m. He came, he laid down beside me, and his body was so big that he was kind of he had to coil up to touch me. And as he embraced me, I could feel his scale. He had a kind of turtle shell, and I feel that coldness you see on my back, because usually I sleep naked, but they are very respectful. They didn't do anything nonsense with me. So he just hugged me, and then he said that he liked me. And he stayed with me about 10 minutes holding me, and I couldn't move because I was too petrified and his vibration was too high, and I couldn't move. I was really like a rock, petrified. To tell you the truth, I have seen men, but I never feel so fearful as I did with that being. And he was green, and he was brownish and green, and very tough, very muscular. If he just if he were to press my body, he will smash me. He only needed a little strength to kill my body, but he didn't do anything of the sort. In fact, he didn't even scratch me, and he tried to touch me very delicately. He was so kind, really, and his head, my gosh, his head, the wind that went from my chest to above my head. And he smelled terrible of cat shit. And I said, oh God, my gosh, I want to close my doors, but I couldn't because I was petrified. I was totally petrified of fear. And I just stayed there until that energy went away. As he went away, I stand up, and then I look if there's where any cat have passed motion. But there were no cat around, and the cat were already trained and adult and females. They wouldn't pass motion around. So the smell of the cat dung stayed in the air for some while, like 30 minutes before it went. That means that he remained there. As I wake up, he was still there, but I couldn't see him anymore. He had already disappeared. And so I was petrified, but that's okay. He didn't do anything to me. Also, I saw the werewolves, and they told me that he asked me to wait for a while somewhere, and they brought there's something around 12:39, and there's some noise there on the wall. That's okay. It's 12:39 a.m. So as I said about the wolves, they came to me. They were in pack, and they asked me to sign something. I didn't quite understood what was that, but I just signed. He asked me to sign, and I signed. Another time, one came and said also, you were with ties, and I was your husband before. And I said, oh my God, now everybody's my husband. Now, what I expect now is a reptilian to come in and say, also I was your husband. First, it was this being, the white one, blue-eyed, said that he was my husband from maybe Virgo constellation. And now, this being, this werewolf, came, and he also told me I am your husband. And the year was 2014. I still remember everything. I remember in details. So the first reptilian race were the winged dragons, were an ethereal race of the fifth dimension. They breathed in methane, and that's why they are very smelly. Sometimes I'm here and I can smell a terrible smell of sulfur. And one time the cat went to see something in the evening, and I was alone at home with the cats, two female cats, and one of the cat, the white one, was seeing something, so I decided to put a camera. And as I did, later on I would leave home for jogging, so I left the home at about 9 p.m. in the night. I went away, and then I first I talked to the beings who were there. I told them that they were not to disturb the cat, that they are welcome to stay if they were nice and benevolent, and that I was not scared of them. And my ex beta fish start to vanish out of nothing, and some things will just fall, you see. And I could see that the vibration of the home was not okay. It started when I started to use EVP to measure the level of radiation in the house. And suddenly start to come voices in the EVP, this and that. And so that day I went out of the house, and as I come back and then play back the tape on the computer, and then I saw that the vibration of the house was terrible, and that portal were being opened up. There is noise as if the portal were being opened in the hall and in the other bedrooms, the other three bedrooms of the flat. And I started to hear noises, like there's a family here in the flat, and there were nobody at the time. And the one guy was very tired, like and then I could hear hints also, hints and some kind of growling, and a woman talk, and a shrill voice scream of a woman, and children, and as if there were a family living in the flat. So what I did some cleansing. I have my own way to do cleansing. I usually cleanse with vinegar, lemon, and rock salt, sally from the Dead Sea, and I spray all throughout the house, and I use sage. I don't burn, because when you burn you attract more energy, so better you don't do that. You just throw sage like this naturally. I do have a pot of sage at home, so I just use sage. And then that's why the guy, the spirit that was in the house, was very tired, because as you throw sage or salt, you burn them. I didn't mean to harm. I even say sorry for anything. I say sorry, and I say the prayers that I know to send them to their higher place of vibration, which I did many times. And also I pray some frequencies around the house, and they were gone. Now the house is clean and everything is gone. So we see later that winged dragons were very important in the creation and the development of our world. So that's why I see that they smell of sulfur, because they have made of methane gas. And also why they hint, they kind of, as I hear on the tape, they make but of course their voice is not like mine. Mine is woman, female human, and there is very growling kind, and they real hints, you see. They don't talk. When they talk, they growl and they hiss, because of the gas that they are made of. And in the Muslim culture, they do believe that the genius, they see the reptilians is made of smoke. Okay, but this is yet another thing. This one is the chameleon. Is the chameleon? Yeah, I think it's the class, but the reptilians is vast. The grays, the wow, the name is Salpsirae. Their scientific name is Salpsirae. They are break into men's Anunaki group. You see, so the Kalupsos come from the grace, they call the reticulis, no? The Zeta reticulis, but actually their name is Salpsirae. And the reptilians also is broken into many sects. You understand? Not all are bad. You don't think that all bad. Not all also is very conscious and the good side. You understand? But not all also are bad. And they are not made of his monk. What's made of his monk is the chameleon. The chameleon is more into sorcery. They are most the witch side of the reptilian. They are into black magic and voodoos, all this kind of thing. That's why they are made of his monk fire. But not all are like that. We'll see later that the winged dragons were very important in the creation of development of our world. That means that they came here and they kind of took over and they kind of made some arrangement and some changes which were not even good. Okay, as the dragons were 5D or astral plane, as we know, their nature allowed them to move through space, arriving and set in the region of the Orion constellation, especially in Ringel, where there are many young and angelic stars and draconian peoples proliferated and diversified into distinct reptile races through normal evolution over time and also of genetic experiences. Only the Orion, what about Sirius? They are just anywhere. Those reptilians are all over. They have conquered many systems. So they are all over. And these processes of adaptation to the different environments and worlds, and also in the several genetic projects that were appearing according to the advice of each civilization. Several new races arose, including the mammals like the felines, giant humanoid tigers, or the mother jaguar, the black jaguar, the mother black jaguar. She kind of teaches many things, but in the top way. She's very quite strict mother. You see, they call it the black mother jaguar. She's a feline. And she's very protective, but she's also a bit strict. If you talk to them, they will tell you, we do not give you all what you all want, but what you all need. But some also were brought of other universes. The thing is that from my view, Gaia, Earth, was taking DNA or seeds from all over the universe. You see, so they all came. Because Gaia is open her door to everybody. Some seeds were already brought. Oh my gosh, my leg. So some seed were how they call, grew here. On Vega in the constellation of Lyra, appeared the first Adamic race human, and this Adamic race have to be the blonde, blue-eyed people always. This is what they call the Adamic race. So what about the other race? Where the heck they come from? The Orientals, the Asiatics, the black people, the Semites. Where did they come from? If this were the first human were Adamic, which they say is the white people, so where the others came from? Or did the others involved from them? I mean, and then this one, yeah, better keep my mouth shut, because if I have to tell the truth, okay. In our local universe, through a new project, where they work together, the Elohim cosmic engineers, the Elohim. So the Elohim are those people, the one that the Jewish worship. How about Kobazar? How about the Jehovah, the red dragon, that they say that the Jews kind of worship. Jehovah, they say, is a dragon. Elohims, but at the same time they say they worship the Elohims. And they say maybe the Hebrew were the white race. I'm not sure, but they say they are. And I have one race, that's the Elohims, Yahels. This race were from humans, from the white humans, you see. They took DNA, what I guess that they took DNA to us, from us, to create other beings, in other words. That's why this is Zetas, those grays, they need our DNA, because they come from us as well. They need our DNA to carry on if they are only species. And from this race here come the Yahels. Yahel is somewhat like the Elohims. See, they will say that we are their ancestral, and they descend from this race here. They descend from them. So through a new project where they work together, the Elohim cosmic engineers, the feline race, among others. This human race had already developed very successfully in other universes, and it was time to bring it to ours as well. Ours in here can be who? Is it the man talking, the human man who channel this, or was it aliens talking? Because if it were aliens say that is ours, that means that they bring seed, humanoid seed from us to populate, to create other beings in other galaxies. So now I am in doubt whether this ours here is we or they. Thus, the first human being of our universe was developed, where the being we know as Jesus Christ was the first to inhabit a body. So this mean they mean that the Jesus was the first humanoid to exist. Alright. Christ at the time vibrated in a dimension from 6 to 7G. similar to what today is found some ascended masters, considered the Buddha among others. The being we know as Jesus today would be vibrating in the 18th dimension. So, okay, if this being have been the first, then there were these people. He was not brown, but really he was a kind of Elohim, white man, okay? But I have seen him as a Greek man. I have seen this being for men since I was 12 years old in the 70s. I was 12 years old in around 1978. See? 1978, 1977, I was 12 years old. And I started to see this being. And he always would follow me. And then later on, he started to follow me. In 2005, I was here, sitting down. When suddenly at about 1 a.m., I saw one man with a white gown come, approaching me. I was sitting on the chair, I was laying on a chair. And that time I have Yahoo 2005, so I would go to chat rooms and chat people there in community couch and community lobby. So I was chat with a lot of people there from Europe, from Latin America, from North America, everywhere. So I was chatting with people, and then suddenly I felt a presence on my left side. When I turned left, I saw a being. He was not very tall. He was of medium height, and he was wearing a white gown. He had what they call a string around on his waist, made of that thing, what they call, I don't know, rope, made of a rope. And he had worn a beard, very dry one. I didn't see the face properly, neither the eyes, because it was a bit dark. Last time I didn't have a lamp here near, so it was very dark, and I just see that he had hair on his arm, and his skin was not very white. It was Arabic skin, like very light brown, like that. And I look at his feet. He was wearing a leather slip, a leather sandal, and his hair was dry and long. And then what happened? He stretched out his hands towards me. He never said nothing. He stretched out his hand, and I, like in a trance, I placed my hand on his, and as he grabbed me, I just slammed back on my sofa like I was already dead. And then I saw myself, but I saw my body there on the sofa, and then I went through the wall behind the computer. And before I knew, I was in Jerusalem, in a graveyard. Not graveyard, this was a built white color. And in my mind, he told me something like Mount Olive. Now, I didn't know anything about Mount Olive. I was raised a Catholic, but I knew zero about religion. In fact, I never read the Bible. I just went to church because my mother will oblige me. So I would follow her just to keep her company. I was never into religions. And I knew anything less this Mount Olive. What's Mount Olive? And I just stayed there on the basement. He pointed. I saw one what they call a tomb, white color tomb. I saw the tomb there. And as he pointed, he started to cry like a baby. And then I also start to cry. And then I wake up shivering and cry. I wake up on my body and shivering and cry at about 1:30 a.m. in the morning in 2005. During this time, I went through a lot of problems in my life. And whenever I have a lot of problem, this being will come to me. And he was not white. He was like Arabic man. Okay. So in 2005, 2009, I saw him with Muslims saying prayer to them, and I went in another realm. And then I saw some Muslim people who have passed away saying prayers to him. And then I approached the lady and I say, the lady wearing a burqa, and she was a Muslim woman. And then I asked her, is that Jesus? And then she said, yes, it's Jesus. And then she was laughing very happy. So I kind of, okay. Then I go back. At the time I saw him also in one kind of heresy. One kind of funeral car. Very strange dream. And another time, it was last time, 2014, I saw him on the master bedroom, and then I saw him with his face on the window. He suddenly saw me, and he saw me, for he was in the crowd, so he saw me. I suddenly saw him, not he saw me, because he wants to watch me all the time. So he came into the door, he came inside the bedroom, and then he followed me. I walked to the kitchen, he followed me. Okay, fine. Inside the kitchen, he started to talk to me. I don't know what, the same gown and the same guy who came in 2005. Okay, so what happened? I gave my back to him and I walked just a few yards away from him, and suddenly I saw the window of my kitchen open up and the wall open up, and then he flung me down to the ninth floor. And then as I go down, he said, before he pushed me, he told me, he's waiting for you. Then I say, who? He said, he. And then I went to see who. He said, he's downstairs. When I go to the kitchen window to look, and then I look downstairs, I saw a heresy car, a funeral car, black car with a black tall man over there. Then I said, I kind of, what happened? Then before I could react, he pushed me. Then I go down, then I wake up. And after that, I start to be more aware of this being, and I start to break contract, and I start to ask them to leave me alone. Leave me alone. I don't know what the heck they want with me. So, the feline race among others. So you see, those felines, they have made, they are together with the manipulation of the human genome. They also are engineers, okay? They have also, as I say, the mother jaguar, the black mother jaguar, all that. They have helped to manipulate. They don't know whether they manipulated or they created this human race, okay? So the felines are in it together, but don't go around hating felines, then killing them. Just accept, just love, and then show them that you could be as good or even, I don't know. Yeah, you could be worth of capable of love among others. This human race had already developed very successful in other universes, and it was time to bring it. Okay. Crash at the time vibrated in a dimension from 6. So the vibrating dimension is the direct human expression of Michael. Some say that he's Marduk. Marduk is the son of Enki. Enki is also the dragon. And Leo is the half brother of Enki, who is also a dragon, who is the son of Anu, the emperor, okay, the king of the Anunnakis with the dragons. And they say in other school of thought, this Jesus belonged to this clan, okay. And for this reasons I have been chased in supreme entity in God, if you do capital G in our local universe, who call GD is the Jew like to call GD, they don't call God, they call GD with capital letter. Understanding as God, this co-created being that he called the paradise son. Also he is called the solar serpent. He is the solar serpent of the solar of the solar system. Supreme entity in God with the capital G. Understand as God who came out of the monad and made the way of descent and ascent back, but in another universe. So that's it. Just take all this with a cup of salt. Have time to digest all these studies and information, and just to warn one more time, these subjects are for people who are into it, okay, who are into discover more about our origin, and not just to stab around in the dark and be disinformed like many here, and then after that say that nobody told you. Alright, so it's for those who are interested in this metaphysical subject and I want to know more about the world, the universe and the multiverse around us.